Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. Happy July. It's July 1st, and this is Ask Wildman, a informational resource produced for you by Wildman Web Solutions. We are a digital agency based here in Lawrence, Kansas, and we help small businesses get online and leverage technology to grow and achieve their goals. Part of that is offering this live stream. We're going to be live streaming every week. We're currently live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. This is only our second time on LinkedIn. So again, hello, LinkedIn. If this is the first time you're watching, we are going to have a topic that we're going to discuss here for a little bit. It's hopefully good information for you and other business owners like you. But if you have any questions, if there are any topics you want us to hit, or if you hear something and you want us to go into a little bit more detail, please throw your questions in the comments below. I will be watching for that. And if you're watching this later, if you're not catching us live, you can email us your questions. Email us at askwildman@wildmanweb.com. I have that address scrolling below me here, and we'll use that for next week's show. With that, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Mike. There we go. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Miles. How in the heck are you doing today?
I am doing good. How are you?
Fantastic, but getting better. And a happy early Independence Day to you, sir, and everybody out there.
Why, thank you. Yeah, let's blow some stuff up for fun.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, so Mike here, if you are just jumping in here for the first time, I'm going to do some introductions as we are on a new platform for only the second time. Mike is the marketing side of the house, our sales and marketing expert here at Wildman Web Solutions. I'm more the tech side, building stuff, websites, software, that kind of thing. So hopefully together we can cover enough ground to answer your questions and give you some good information regarding running a business online. If you have any questions regarding sales or marketing and anything, this is your guy. But today I wanted to talk about a subject we've been hitting a lot recently. It's come up in a lot of conversations. And really right behind websites, it's one of the number one things that we get asked about, and that is the mysterious topic of SEO. I was actually talking with someone yesterday about this who will remain nameless, but I said something about SEO, and they were confused, looking like, an SEO? What's an SEO? I think it's a word like Visio or something in SEO. I'm like, no, okay. It's an acronym for those of you who don't know. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. Basically, it's an umbrella term for a series of actions and strategies that you can implement to get yourself showing up in organic searches. What I mean by organic is when someone goes to Google or Yahoo or Bing or something, they type something in, you are one of the first results to pop up there. Those organic results, they're not the ads, they're not the things showing up all over the other place or anything that says sponsored or anything. It's just naturally showing up there because that search algorithm honestly believes that that link, that website is the most relevant resource for whatever that user has input, that set of keywords they put in there. As search engines get more complicated and the algorithms behind them get more complex, so does the process of SEO. And I think because it's such an umbrella term, it means so many things. There's so many things that can impact someone's ability to show up in search. It's just kind of turned into this giant amorphous umbrella term that can mean anything, and no one really wants to explain it very well. And at least a lot of the small business owners that I talk to, they talk about it in kind of vague terms, like it's this weird black magic thing that happens behind the curtain. They don't know what's going on, and then sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. So I wanted to dispel a little bit of that today, hopefully talk about it, again, at a pretty high level at this point, but maybe future shows here we can dive in a little bit more depth. But I do want to hear from you. So if there's anything in here you want us to talk a little bit more about, you have some questions on it, it's unclear still, let us know in the comments, email us. You can always visit our website at wildmanweb.com for some more information. So we do put up some information there. Mike, before I get started and just dive in, did you have any thoughts or initial questions just regarding the, again, that mystery that is SEO from a marketing standpoint?
Yeah, well, maybe let's just keep it at a high level for a minute and talk real broad. So, why is SEO important? First and foremost, and really the answer to that, has to do with the buying funnel, with the sales funnel, whichever you want to call it, which we talk a lot about on the show. But when people are actively searching for your products, and this applies to SEM as well, search engine marketing, they're really in that bottom of the funnel buying mode. They're not wondering if this is for them, or maybe they are a little bit, but they're at least aware of the product. They're aware of the service that they're looking for. That's why they're searching for it. So if you contrast that with more top of the funnel marketing and advertising, traditional methods, or even Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and things like that, most of those types of campaigns are going to be more top of the funnel. It's going to be getting people who aren't necessarily searching for you to think about you, to know about you, to understand about you, to like, know, and trust you, and then do business with you, right? It's a much longer buying funnel. And so that's why this is so important, is that if you're not taking advantage of having good SEO and maybe even possibly good SEM for your business, you're missing out on a lot of low-hanging fruit, and you're missing out on great conversion opportunities. So that's, just high level, the why of why this is really important. And then the other thing, Miles, I just wanted to address real quick before we get into more details, is a lot of people don't, like you were talking about, they think it's some sort of voodoo or black magic, and they don't have a proper understanding of where their SEO is. And that can go on both sides of the equation. They could think it's really great, and it's not. And they could think that it's really terrible, and it's not. And a lot of that has to do with people will just search on their own. They'll just type in their own business category. Like if I'm a plumber, I'm going to type in plumbing Lawrence, Kansas into my phone or my laptop, and I'm going to look at the search results and see where I am, and then deduct from there if my SEO is good or not. And as I'm sure you could get into more detail why that's not the case, that's not an accurate portrayal, because your SEO results on your personal devices are going to be skewed based on your search history and your cookies and all kinds of other things. So the first place to start, once you realize that this is something important that I need to pay attention to, is to get a ground-based level of where my SEO standing is currently. And we can actually help you with that on the Wildman Web website. Just go to wildmanweb.com/SEO, and there is an SEO audit tool right there on there that can give you an accurate, third party, if you will, portrayal of where you're sitting at today. So if you want to do that while we're sitting here talking, that can give you a little bit of a good idea. But Miles, go ahead. I just want to lay those few things out.
Yeah, there's some very good points. You can't undervalue how great it is to show up at the top of your industry in search. Again, on that page on our website, we have some other stats on there, a couple of studies that we've looked at, which honestly could use some updating, because I know I wrote this a little while ago, but it's probably pretty close to accurate still. Let's see, the top 5. So the first 5 search results on Google get nearly 70% of all the clicks of people searching it, and 75% of all local mobile searches, which means someone in your area searching on their phone, results in a store visit within 24 hours, specifically because of the point that you were just making there. This is a very bottom of the funnel kind of marketing play. If someone is already searching for you, that means that they already want what you have. You don't have to convince them that they need your product, or that you're the best or anything. You don't have to convince them of anything. They're already ready to buy. They're looking for something. All you have to be is that first option for them, or at least among the top few there. Especially if someone is on their phone and they're looking for a particular service, chances are they're out and about. They're looking for it right now. They're saying, hey, where can I get this right now? And that could be you. So yeah, you talked about measurement there and how it can be a little bit difficult to tell where you are currently at as far as SEO goes. And that's absolutely true. I think a lot of people are confused by this. They'll look at their own personal results, and you're right. Part of the complexity that's been injected into the search algorithms of all the primary search engines is some very personalized things. So depending on exactly how you phrase that search, like there's a difference between plumber in Lawrence, Kansas and plumber near me. Those are triggering completely different algorithms on the back end of Google, and it'll give you a completely different set of results. You can go ahead and try that right now if you want, and you'll start to see the variation. Or if you do Lawrence, Kansas plumber versus Plumber Lawrence, Kansas. That's going to give you a different set. And there is some stuff that's individualized to you based on where you are, what kind of device that you're using, the browser that you're using, your personal search history, and the information that that search engine has on you, because it's going to try to give you the best answer it possibly can. And part of that is contextualizing to the person who is doing the active search. So as soon as you have realized that SEO is important, showing up in search is important, the first thing that you want to do is do a little bit of research. There are lots of really great SEO tools out there. The number one tool out there is Google Search Engine Console. So if you just Google that, if you search for Google Search Console, then this will pop up. Might have you create an account. If you already have a Google Analytics account, it might not. But if you go there, and there will be a ton of tools to help you figure out where you currently rank, things that you can do. It is a little bit more technically complex, and it's definitely one of the tools that we as a professional SEO agency use. But there's also some easier ones out there. Mike pointed out ours. Of course, we're a little biased towards it, but it is a really good tool, and it's free to use. It pulls information from Google Search Console and Google Analytics and your Google business profile and all sorts of other sources, and kind of amalgamates that together into something a little bit more digestible and readable. That's not giant.
And we won't spam you like a lot of those free SEO audit tools out there. Well,
oh my God, the number of times. Yeah, there's all these tools out there. They say, plug in your information for an SEO report or something, and then immediately you start getting calls and emails because they've just sold your information to a bunch of skeezy agencies and stuff. So you have to be careful of that, I guess. Anyway, so the first thing you want to do in SEO is start to do that research. Figure out where you are, what you're currently ranking in, and start to do keyword research. Keywords are what users actually plug in to the search engine to look for something. These are, and we have an article about this on our website as well, but we can break it down into a couple different categories. For short tail keywords, these are very simple, direct, usually very competitive keywords. So if someone just searches plumber, that's going to be searching everything having to do with the word plumber across the entire internet. So that's a crazy competitive space, and not necessarily 100% relevant to what you're trying to do. Then we have longer tail keywords. This is where it can get very detailed. So maybe a plumber specializing in commercial services, or plumber clear out septic tank, or like a very specific series of longer keywords. These are going to be a lot more attainable for smaller businesses or people who are just getting started in search. Maybe you don't show up anywhere and you want to get started here. You can start with some of these very detailed ones, rank there, and get some momentum going. So that's the other thing. I actually just explained this to a client earlier this week, that there's sort of the snowball effect. Google and other search engines are going to look at your site and your traffic. And if they have a lot of people searching for things and then landing on your website, they're going to assume that's where the users wanted to go. And therefore, you're a good result to suggest to other users that are searching this. So traffic leads to higher ranking. Higher ranking leads to higher traffic. And you've got this nice little cycle in there. And when starting to optimize a site or do some SEO work, what you're trying to do is break that cycle and interject yourself in there so that you can get more traffic, so you can get higher ranking, and then it can kind of snowball on its own. So if you can build up a little bit of momentum with some low-hanging fruit, some easy things, maybe you don't have a lot of competitors in a particular space or a particular area, maybe you target a slightly smaller market than your primary market, a number of strategies that you can implement here. But it all starts with doing keyword research, figuring out where you currently rank and which ones are going to be most valuable to you. For that, you're going to want to look at something called search engine or search volume. So that's what people are actually, how many people are looking for this. So if someone is searching for a particular keyword, you want to show up for that. If you want, there might be a low-hanging keyword out there that you can rank for, but if no one is actually searching for it, then that's not very valuable to you. Maybe that's why it's so easy to rank for, is because no one is actually searching this. Google Search Console, along with our tool as well, has means of showing you how competitive these keywords are and what kind of search volume is out there. Once you've done your basic research, you've got a set of keywords, and you know what you want to rank for. You kind of know that you have that path. If you can't figure that out, then give us a call. We'll give you a strategy. But once you have that, you're going to have to start working. And there's two areas of SEO that are completely different beasts. One is on-site, one is off-site. On-site SEO is actually optimizing your own website. You can start by making sure that it loads quickly, that it's mobile friendly, that it has the keywords you're trying to rank for on there in prominent locations. Maybe you even make a specific page on that website that's dedicated to that set of keywords. That is all on-site optimization. It's going to be in part just website performance, and then in part content. So you want to create some content on your website. Maybe you start writing a blog and you write about the services that you want to rank for. Anything that you can do to get those keywords on your website more in a relevant and useful way is going to improve your on-site SEO. Off-site is going to be everything else off of your own website. So that's going to be going out and getting backlinks. Backlink is just some other website linking to you, preferably saying something about the keywords that you want to reference. So if there's a local blog or a business directory or something like that talking about, the best 5 plumbers in Lawrence or something, and they provide a link back to you, to your website, that is SEO Gold. There's also tons of other information out there, business directories and maps, apps and rating sites, all these places where you can get mentions of your business and get links back to your website. Those things are incredibly valuable and can do a lot of damage for your SEO very quickly. With that being said, I will throw out a word of caution for people who are just getting into this and maybe starting to work with an SEO agency. There are some less than awesome ways that you can go about getting backlinks. Where you can just have someone or a bot or some automated process going out and just spamming the internet or putting yourself on these useless directories they exist only for SEO agencies to say that they created a backlink on some other website. And they're not relevant to you. They're not where your business is going and seeing that. They're not part of your market. They're not high traffic websites themselves. Not to say that they do nothing, but you need to do a ton of it. 2,000 of those backlinks are going to be worth one quality backlink in your local newspaper, for example. So just keep on top of that. Be aware that that does exist and that it's going to be taking you a long way around when it comes to off-site SEO. Make sure you're working with a reputable company, especially if they say they specialize in off-site SEO. Those are the two main categories of SEO work. Either way you want to go, make sure that you are planning proper time and resources towards this kind of an effort. Unlike other advertising efforts, it does take some time because you're really waiting on Google and other search engines to react to whatever it is that you're doing. It's not like I can go and pay to put an ad on Facebook and I'm going to see it tomorrow, or my audience is going to see it tomorrow. It's going to be up and working for me immediately like a light switch. Same thing if I wanted to buy an ad on Google, for example, and show up there in that sponsored spot. But on organic stuff, you're really waiting on the algorithm to respond to the efforts that you're making. So you're going to see this nice big delay. Every action that you take, you're not going to see the benefit of that for several weeks or even months afterwards. It really depends. So that's why we call it search engine optimization, not search engine perfection or search engine activities even. It's a continual process of optimizing something to make it better than it is, and to get you increasing in those rankings. But don't think that you're going to start doing this. You're going to start a blog. You're going to make your website a little bit better, get a backlink, and then you're going to be on the first page of Google tomorrow. Plan on working on this just as a continual effort. You're working on your website. You're always out there trying to get more backlinks. You're always out there looking for opportunities to increase your ranking or find new keywords or new opportunities for ranking, and really treat it that way. This is a marathon, not a sprint. With that, I think that's basically my monologue here on search. I want to turn it over to you, Mike, for just a little bit. But if you have any questions out there, Or if I've mentioned something here you want us to dive into a little bit more detail, please throw that in the comments below. I am watching those comments.
Yeah.
Mike, any thoughts on all of that?
Just real quick, I just wanted to say yes to what you were just saying. I'm glad you talked about the timeline there. It does take a long time, 6 months to a year, maybe even more, depending on the competition in your category, to really see great results in terms of your actual placement in SEO. But I just wanted to make this one nerdy advertising point real quick here at the end. But then once you're there, back to my point earlier about conversions in the funnel, it's a much faster process, whereas let's take the Facebook, top of the funnel awareness campaign on Facebook. Yes, the Facebook ad is on tomorrow, and you can see it, but it may not be generating results for 6 months, 12 months, et cetera, depending on the length of your buying funnel. If I have a buying funnel that is years and years long, meaning let's take cars, for example, I think it's every 7 years on average, somebody buys a car, so I have to talk to somebody for a long time before they're able to come back and get me through, a TV campaign or a Facebook campaign or some type of funnel awareness campaign. At the same time, when somebody's in that buying mode 7 years later and they're ready to buy a car, this month or this week or whatever, and they search Toyota or Chevy or whatever their preferred car is near me, and I show up first, to your point, I'm probably going to get first crack at that. And so it takes a long time to show up, but then once you're showing up, it's actually a much faster conversion process than maybe some other forms of advertising would be. So I just wanted to point that out for the people there, Miles. But yeah, great points all around.
Yeah, and one more thing, just to expand on that, and that you do stay there. So it's not like if you buy an ad on Google, you get that sponsored spot at the top. As soon as you stop putting money into that ad campaign, that listing is gone.
Yeah.
As soon as you stop putting effort into your SEO, or if you take a month off or something like that, you're not going to be immediately gone or immediately lose your ranking. Every step that you take, whether you're writing a blog article on your website, or you're going out and getting another listing, or you're enticing someone to give you a backlink or something, those are all permanent features, more or less, that will help you to rise up and hold that ranking. So it's a lot more like, investing in something where you're getting equity back versus just renting something where as soon as you stop paying, you don't have that thing anymore. With that being said, it's not like you can just go work for 6 months, get to the top of page one, and then stop forever. That's not because what you did lost any value. Those things are still very valuable and meaningful and everything, but the world moves on around you. Your competition is also doing things, and they may someday surpass you. It might be next year. It might be tomorrow. You don't know what they're doing. And also the internet moves on. Technology adapts and changes. We're always trying to stay on top of the newest updates for Google and the other major search engines, although they all basically follow Google a couple of months later. But it's going to change how it prioritizes things and how it looks into things, how it does things. One thing that Mike brings up a lot is voice search. So when people are asking Siri where something is, or asking their Google Home Assistant or Alexa or something, that voice search is a completely different algorithm, a completely different model than if you say, go to Google and type something in. And so just showing up for that, which is a relatively new market in the space, can, one, be a little bit less competitive, and two, is something completely different. So the steps that you took to optimize yourself for text-based search might not fully translate over into what's being done on the voice search option.
Right.
And as soon as that overtakes the number of text-based searches out there, all of a sudden you're behind the competition, even though you're number one if someone types in your services into Google. So that's why I say it's a continual process. You're always working on it. You're always optimizing. You're continually optimizing your online presence, and the work is really never done. The world moves around us, and we have to continually move with it.
Yeah, and let me just add one thing to that, Miles, real quick, and I promise I'll shut up. I'll let you wrap up the show here. But the other thing is, you're not just done either when you get to that top spot in SEO ranking, because that just means that people are going to see you.
Right.
So then you have to make sure that, like we talked about last week on the show, that your website is properly optimized, that it's sales friendly, it's user friendly, it's up to speed, it's able to convert. That your reviews are really good. That stat you gave earlier, 70%, I think it was, at the top 5 rankings get the business. Well, almost a third don't. Why? Because people went to their website and they didn't like what they saw, or they Googled them and they didn't like what they read, or the reviews, or whatever it is. You remember, people are not doing business with you for one of two reasons. They either know about you or they don't. So all SEO is going to do is get people to be able to find you and know about you. It's up to you to take those next steps along with your marketing team to make sure that when they do find you, they're going to like what they see, and they're going to convert, and they're going to come back and be loyal customers and drive that lifetime value up. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to let you wrap up the show.
Of course, along with everything else that we talk about here, this is one step among many, one way to market a business. There's so many options out there, especially in the digital age. So yeah, we're not lacking for options here, but anything that we're recommending here does have to exist as part of an overarching marketing strategy. None of this just exists in a vacuum. So thank you for throwing that out there. I am going to wrap up the show here, though. So if you have any questions, you want us to do any a deep dive into any subjects, or if you have a particular subject you want us to hit, then please throw that in the comments. We'll come back to that later, or you can email us at askwildman@wildmanweb.com. As we said earlier, there's lots of great resources on our website, wildmanweb.com, including a brand new SEO audit tool. So if you go to wildmanweb.com/SEO, you will see that audit tool, put in a little bit of information about your business. It will give you that nice, strong starting point, let you know where you are, where you need to go, and then we're not going to spam the crap out of you after you fill it out. So with that, I think we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, Mike, and we'll see you again next week. Okay, thank you all for watching.